Before we get into the video, I just want to tell you guys that in this video, I do not film a whole lot of cutting. It bores me to cut and try to figure things out without a plan. So I didn't want to bore you guys with that as well. If you guys would like a cut list, then I can definitely provide that. With the project being done, all I have to do is remeasure. A lot of it I do remember, but in the description, I can put a cut list if you guys recommend that, and there will be a future building onto this garden bed here. So let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in something like that, and I will work on getting you guys something like that in the description at a later date, as well as in the future I will be keeping track of our cut list and adding it in the future videos. But enjoy the video, guys. Thanks. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hill Homestead. So the primary focus in today's video is going to be making this spot behind me have at least one of the 3 planned raised garden beds. I went and got some lumber from Lowe's today, as well as some other material. Hopefully I got everything, but we will see. Behind me here in the truck, I just kind of went in winging it. I did get some 1-inch screws, some 2-inch screws, as well as 15 1x6s and 4 4x4s. I'll explain why and the purpose in using these types of board. They are all treated lumber. So I spent a little bit more money than I had wanted to, but we're gonna see what we can do with what we've got. It's easier to carry stuff, and you never know when you're gonna need a tractor. So the plan is to use the truck bed as a table for my table saw. So I have to get this stuff unloaded. I'm just gonna put it on the ground until I can get it off the ground. So while normally my #1 goal is just for something to be efficient, if you guys know our property at all, our house literally sits right there. So we're gonna be looking at this raised garden bed every single day. So not only do I want it to be efficient as possible, but I also want it to be pretty as well as long lasting. So this type of project I'm going to take my time on. I'm not going to try to cut any corners. If I need to go back into town and get something else from the hardware store instead of finding something around here to make it work, then that's what I'm gonna do this time. Because like I say, we're gonna try to incorporate some old tin that we had laying around, kind of give it a rustic look, but at the same time, you know, make it look like something that's easy to look at, and something that we enjoy looking at every day. So the only plans that I have for this are right here. That's typically how it goes for me. I kind of go with it, see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll change my mind. I hope we got plenty of lumber for however many times that I mess up. So in my head, I'm thinking the height of these boxes being roughly 3.5 feet long, or 3.5 feet tall, and about 11 to 12 feet long. These are 12-foot 1x6s, and the metal tin, whatever you want to call it, behind me is 11 feet long. So it may be 11 feet with the hangover of the 4x4s on each side. So we will see what it will turn out to be. I was beginning to second guess myself, because after thinking about it, I really would like to use some 2x4s in this as well. So luckily, down in one of the old barns in the rafters, we had some old 2x4s that I think will work perfectly for this project. So what we're going to get started with are the short ends of the beds. And like I say, these sheets of metal back there are 37 inches tall. So I want to clear that just a hair. That way I can put a nice shelf-like look on top. And that way we can sit or put our knee on top of the beds to reach in and weed, or pick whatever we are planting out of them. So I'm going to start working on building the sides now, and we'll see what they look like. Before squaring everything up and screwing everything in with these 2-inch screws right here, this is kind of what I'm thinking about as the end caps of the wall. And then we will add the 1x6s to this. So this is what we've been working on. They are about 4 feet high, which, looking at it now and standing beside of it, I almost think it's too tall. So what we're gonna do is, for the next two, experiment with a little bit shorter ones and plant something in here that is easily accessible, something that would be okay to reach up, maybe tomato plants, something of that nature. But what we did here is the inside, which will be, this will be where we put all the materials. This is actually the outside. And we did that because after watching videos, one particularly being Justin Rhodes's videos, he talked about how they built flower beds very close, very similar to these. And the inside was, it was put on the inside for extra support, more of a weight bearing type of load, because these will be filled with logs and just biodegradable material, and then topped off with our compost. So there will be a lot of weight inside of these, but these are very heavy duty end caps for these flower beds. But like I say, these are 1x6s, 4x4s. The frame here was built by 2x4s, and it is all treated lumber. And it was screwed in with 1-inch screws, or well, 1 5/8 inch screws, as well as 2-inch screws. So it is a very solid, very heavy frame. So we are going to start working on the sidewalls if we have the material to do so. I do need to check and make sure we have enough 2x4s, but if not, we will have to go to the hardware store again and finish it up at a later date. All right guys, so it is the next day and we are back at it working on the sidewalls of this very tall raised garden bed. So we had to run out yesterday and get more material, such as 2x4s mainly, and a little bit longer screws. I did end up getting 3.5-inch screws to really anchor it to the sidewalls. So I'm gonna get started building the sidewalls right now. All right guys, so these are going to be our side pieces. The tin side will be on the inside, just like the same design as the end caps. We put the 2x4s, and I actually anchored the middle with a 4x4, and I'm going to add those 4x4s here on the side as well after we get them boxed in, just for some extra support, so that the tin does not pop out whenever we do add the material inside of it. So right now we are actually going to move locations. Because of this tree, we are afraid what kind of shadow it will cast on our our garden beds. So we're going to try another location that may get more sun throughout the day. So here's the final product. I can talk you guys through exactly what we did. We did end up moving locations for it, because this spot in the yard is much more level than the original spot we were going to put it in. This is going to take a lot less work as far as finding a good level spot. It's sitting pretty flush to the ground as it is right now. So I'm gonna walk through it and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we did. So as I've talked about, the 4x4s, 2x4 framing is on the outside, and that is for a load bearing type of material such as dirt. So that way it's not just leaning on this tin right here and it would not press it out. I do plan on putting another flower bed here, so this wall will be bearing weight on both sides, and it's the same way all the way around. This tin is actually from here on the farm. We plan to put down some of our logs that we have laying around that we are not going to use for firewood, that we left in longer lengths. These are screwed in to the 2x4s, and we used 1x6s on this far wall cap as well as the other end. And like I say, this will be in a U shape, so there will be a flower bed going this way about 11 to 12 feet, as well as another flower bed going this way, leaving us a little 6-foot walkway, more than likely, that we could walk in, come in, pick whatever we need to pick out, and have it in the convenience of right outside of our front door. So the dimensions of this bed, the caps, including the end cap 4x4s, are 4 feet exactly, while end to end we're looking at just over 142 inches long. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier in the video, but the height of these are 41 inches. So at first looking at it, I thought it would be too high, but after putting it all together and seeing it as it is, I think it's going to work out just fine. The height of these beds may look very high, but at this height we will fill the dirt probably to about right here, leaving about 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches for us to be able to reach down. And we are doing this because this is a good height for shorter plants such as pepper plants, or you could run a hog panel across the center of it or one side of it and do things such as cucumbers or green beans or things like that. A viney plant that will grow up the hog panel, and it would be at eye level almost. Des is about 5'9", 5'8", 5'9", and I'm about 6'1", 6'2". So it is a good height for us to just be able to reach up and pick whatever we want, and we will be able to see underneath the plants as well to see if any of the vegetables had fallen into the dirt. So there will be easy pickings from right here. The other flower beds will be a little bit shorter, but that's just an idea for beds of this height. I think that is going to button up this video right here. I know I did not video a lot of the cutting and the measuring, blah, blah, blah. It bores me, so I know it would bore you guys. If you guys need like a cut list or something like that, I will do my best to video the rest of the cuts with the remaining flower beds. If you guys would like to actually see more in detail of those other 2 flower beds that we're going to be building here, let me know. I am not a carpenter. You guys could probably build this 100 times better than I could, and a lot more sturdy than this one is, but we do what we can. I like what it looks like. I like the rustic look that the tin gives off, as well as the clean look on the sides. So Des is happy with it, I'm happy with it. Happy spouse, happy house, it's all good. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and hopefully you learned something about just the dimensions, talking you through it, showing you what we used here today in this video. This was a 2-day project for me because we did not have the materials here on hand. I did have to go out and get more because, like I said earlier in the video, my plans were right here. So maybe in the future I will do a better job at planning these things out. But again, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.